Why are my calves so small? Why don't they grow no matter what I do? And why can someone who will love leg day still have problems growing their lower halves? Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, damn, I look good? Just to pan down as a pair of chopsticks enter your view. Well, so have I. Hello gym bros, dudettes, and Athlete X enthusiasts, welcome to a new series on the channel called Gym Theory. I legitimately feel like a Walmart version of MatPat at this point, but not to worry because this series will go over myths and theories related to strength, bodybuilding, and general fitness. And the topic of the very first edition will be, you know them, you probably don't love them, calves. Why are your calves so small? Well, if you ask somebody like Greg Doucette or even Arnold, they would probably say it's because you don't train them hard enough, or you simply don't train them properly at all. Which is a fair point to make, considering most people don't have any clue regarding progressive overload or programming for optimal gains to even begin with. The same goes for the stuff we do every single day, and as a part of their routine, most people just neglect calves. Just as some people neglect basic hygiene and shaving, which brings me to today's video sponsor. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring today's video, helping me pump out content for you guys. Do you have PTSD? Post-traumatic shaving disorder? Well, no need to worry anymore because Manscaped has got you covered with their Performance Package 4.0. Containing the most essential gadgets for grooming upstairs and downstairs, specifically with their new Lawnmower 4.0, which is both waterproof with its skin-safe new technology and shaving design. The package also includes the so-called Weed Whacker, which is a super nifty ear and nose hair trimmer, and their famous ball deodorant and toner. The bag of stuff pretty much covers everything that you actually need, so that you won't ever need to worry about grooming ever again. So head on over to Manscaped and use the code BADGUY for 20% off your entire order and free worldwide shipping. Everything will be linked down below in the description. I highly suggest you check them out. Now, there are a couple of reasons why calves generally are neglected. One, they are normally put at the very end of someone's leg workout, which would make them much more mentally demanding to train than necessary. Two, they're not a very flashy muscle group and people just don't care about them enough to bother training them. Or three, people think they'll train their calves optimally by just existing, aka walking, jogging, cycling, etc. Based on my personal experiences, another reason is that people train their calves ineffectively. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's a combination of low effort work, short range of motion, and generally low set quality, which just means the same as poor training efficiency. For example, a guy loading up more than his max squat on the Smith machine and proceeding to do calf raises with shorter ranges of motion than a powerlifter's bench press. Yes, I am also a powerlifter, each shift. Stretching a muscle fully through its intended range of motion is likely to improve your overall set quality, and despite calf raises being one of the shortest motions you can actually perform in the gym, extending your ankles as far as you possibly can will likely benefit you more than anything. Throwback to when I trained my calves for 100 days straight. You should totally check that video out if you haven't already, but I made one fatal mistake. Several. But since I wanted to train my calves every single day, somewhat, I neglected some major training principles, those being variation and exercise selection, alongside maximizing mechanical tension on the calves, since I mostly just did simple calf raises with my own body weights every single day. So taking my mistakes into account, you should ideally strive to have a calf training routine that you can actually perform on a regular basis, utilizing exercises and loads which allow for progressive increases in training load, aka the weight you lift, and volume. Over to the issue we all know and love, however. The main reason why all of us believe we're made in a certain way that is limiting us from becoming the best version of ourselves: genetics. Now, I'm definitely no expert on genes and heredity, so I won't go into too much detail. Just know that everyone's calves originate and insert at the same point pretty much. For example, your soleus, one of the calf muscles, will always insert on the posterior surface of your calcaneus. Don't worry if you don't get that. But your genetics will not allow for any significant change in that. However, the shape of the muscle, aka how far the muscle berry is attached from the tendon, can vary somewhat, which is why some people have calves that look like this, this, while others have calves that look like this. So, in a way, I guess you could blame your genetics for everything, like why your calves are small, your grades are shit, and why your girlfriend is a furry who looks like Andrew Tate, but just don't. But back to the calves. There are a bunch of theories that say that one particular set of exercises are superior when it comes to growing the calves. And of course, since everyone has their own biases, most of us usually have one calf exercise in particular, which we find much better than others, such as standing calf raises, seated calf raises, laying calf raises, or opposite day calf raises. Jokes aside, all of these ultimately train the same muscles, with the exception of opposite day calf raises, which primarily target the tibialis anterior at the front of the shin. And they all have different pros and cons. For example, any calf raise where your knees are as extended as possible would work the gastrocnemius more optimally since it's being worked in a stretched position. But again, you may not be able to push yourself as hard as with any seated calf raise because you might have more joints you need to stabilize. So in a practical sense, just do them all and just adapt it to whatever your current training goal is. If you just did 10 sets of heavy squats, then maybe doing heavy standard calf raises isn't a good option. And if you're doing a seated calf raise, you'll likely not activate most of the calf muscles in an optimal way. I say optimal, you don't quote me on that, please. But front dudes, you're probably asking, why do some people who don't even train their calves sometimes have massive calves? For example, the 40-year-old dad who lives down the street who hasn't seen a gym since the Cold War. Well, this often also refers to people of high BMI, aka proper bulkers, who seemingly get massive apostle horses just by existing, but students of memes and fitnessery, that's gonna be a topic for another day. I hope you guys really enjoy this style of videos, and I want your opinion, so please let me know if you want to see more of this, and what myths, theories, and general tomfoolery you'd like me to dive into, such as, does lifting stunt your growth? Is sebum or no the best daddy? And will I ever be as big as my pump? Find out next time on Gym Theory. I'd see ya. Hey, if you're still watching, check out my main sponsors over at Young LA My Protein Commies Power Apparel, linked down below in the description. You can use the code BACK on all three for a solid discount. You don't have to, but it sure as hell helps the channel out a lot, so thank you.